my friends. Welcome back to Desert Sky Adventures. Well, we're not in the desert today. We've come out here to the coast to check out America's first theme park, Knott's Berry Farm. Today, we're going to check out the rides, the food, talk a little bit about the history, and as always, you're invited to come along with us.
When you think of Knott's Berry Farm, are you more likely to think of something like this? Or something like this? And have you ever wondered what the connection is between a jar of jam and a world-class theme park? Well, the answer is a true American success story, one that began over 100 years ago. This is Walter Knott and his wife, Cordelia. In December of 1920, the Knott's family drove their Model T Ford from Central California to Buena Park for a fresh start, with Walter Knott's cousin Jim Preston, an experienced berry farmer. Together, they leased land and Walter began farming berries. Despite a frost killing Walter's first crop, he persisted and in 1923 was able to build a roadside stand on Grand Avenue selling his berries. Through hard work, the Knott family was able to buy their land in 1927 and build a home the following year, along with a permanent berry market which replaced the simple roadside stand. Along with the market, there was a nursery to sell plants and even a little tea room where Walter's wife Cordelia sold sandwiches, jams, and pies made from the farm's berries. They called it Knott's Berry Place. The Great Depression took hold of America in 1929, which caused land prices to drop. And even though the Knott family was barely making ends meet, Walter doubled down, buying more land to expand his farm. This man's name is Rudolph Boysen, a horticulturist out of Anaheim, California. Sometime around 1929, Mr. Boysen ran an experiment that combined crossing a blackberry, a raspberry, and a loganberry to create, well, something brand new. And at this point in time, these tasty new berries didn't have a name. Despite the fact that Anaheim and Buena Park are neighboring towns, it wouldn't be until 1932 when Walter Knott would first catch wind of these new berries. He set out to find Mr. Boysen and got his information out of the phone book. Boysen admitted to experimenting with berries but left them behind on his previous property as they were very difficult to cultivate. Together, the men found Boysen's long-forgotten berry plant in a ditch covered with weeds and without berries. After securing permission from the new owners, Walter took cuttings back to Buena Park to plant and cultivate. And by 1934, Walter had enough cuttings and berries to introduce the new boysenberry as a commercial product, and Cordelia incorporated the new berry into her tea room. The berries, jams, and pies were an instant hit. The new berry had no name, and while Walter's friends said he should name it after himself, he opted instead to honor the berry's creator and dubbed it the boysenberry. It was around this time that Cordelia Knott came up with an idea that would change everything, and started serving chicken dinners along with the boysenberry products out of their small tea room. The dining room originally sat 20, and in 1935 they expanded it to 40, only to have it expand again the following year to accommodate 70. Cordelia's little tea room had become a full-fledged restaurant, and when they expanded to seat 350 people, they figured people would no longer have to wait, but they did. And it wasn't uncommon for people to wait in line for hours just to get a taste of Mrs. Knott's fried chicken. Mr. Knott saw an immediate need for some sort of attraction that could entertain the guests while they waited to get into the restaurant. And in 1940, Walter Knott constructed what would become Knott's Ghost Town, and America's first theme park was born. Before he knew it, Walter's ghost town had grown a life of its own, and people were coming just to visit the ghost town. Walter hired a variety of actors to populate his faux western town and amuse the guests. And in 1947, Walter named his expanding enterprise Knott's Berry Farm. And as the family saw even more success, they continued to expand their park, eventually building rides, like the Timber Mountain Log Ride and the Calico Mine Ride, both of which still operate to this day. And to this day, every boysenberry on Earth can be traced back to Walter's farm. And that, my friends, in a nutshell, is the true story of how a small, struggling farm became what we know today as Knott's Berry Farm. Today, what would eventually become known as the Calico Ghost Town is still a very large and very popular part of Knott's Berry Farm. The Knott's Bottle House, originally constructed in 1944, still stands today, very much like it did way back then.
Wanna walk through the bottle
Inside,
house real
you'll
quick?
find a really cool Native American
These things
themed gift shop.
40 or something.
Walter Knott was obviously a big fan of the American Old West, and sometime in the 1950s added his own version of Boot Hill Graveyard to his park. Another Tombstone, Arizona landmark was reconstructed for Knott's Berry Farm, this time the Birdcage Theater, which looks nothing on the inside like the actual Birdcage Theater, but what are you going to do? Ghost Town is also home to great thrill rides like Silver Bullet here, Jennifer's favorite roller coaster. And just beyond the waterfall looms the top of the lift hill for the Ghost Rider, one of the world's longest wooden roller coasters. Knott's has strict rules these days about filming on rides, but here is some unseen video that filmed a few years back on this legendary wooden coaster.
Oh man. Here we go! How could you not love the Ghost Rider? That's a hell of a way to start out Scary Farm.
A short distance from the Calico Ghost Town is my favorite part of the park, Fiesta Village. Newly refurbished Fiesta Village, I might add.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción, yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente. Con una pasión tan fuerte. Ay, 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 ay. Ahora sigo cantando y sigo gozando. Yo sigo cantando y sigo gozando.
Fiesta Village is home to my favorite flat ride in the park. This is called Soul Spin. And you're going to find more people that don't like this ride probably than that do. But I like to sit on the outside edge of the arms. This is where you get the most intense ride. This ride is not as scary as people seem to think it is, but I get it. It has an intimidating look to it, and it does get going pretty fast. "2024 marks the 51st anniversary of Knott's Halloween Haunt, an event that would eventually become known as Knott's Scary Farm. An epic Halloween event that is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Here we are inside the Knott's Legacy Halloween shop, and if the merch shop looks this good, imagine what the scare mazes look like. It should be noted that this event is not for children, so if you're thinking about coming here, don't bring them. It will definitely give them nightmares. After 51 years, Knott's Berry Farm is certainly the pioneer of the Halloween haunt. We recently live-streamed the entire Not Scary Farm event, so if you want to get a first-hand look at what the event is actually like, go back and check out that stream. Walter Knott wasn't just a fan of Western history, but American history in general. And in 1966, he spared no expense to build a brick-by-brick, full-size replica of Philadelphia's Independence Hall, the birthplace of America. While it might not be as popular as the Silver Bullet, I always recommend if you come to Knott's that you check this relic out. It's really fascinating to see. It's here that you can find a full-size replica of the Liberty Bell, and some shavings of metal were taken off of the actual Liberty Bell and used in the construction of this one, to try and make it as an authentic recreation as possible. You'll also find a full-scale replica of the Declaration Chamber, an exact replica of the chamber room where the United States of America was born. It was in this room that Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, and our Constitution, which was signed on September 17th, 1787. The rest of the main hall is a small gift shop and museum dedicated to the birth of the United States. Back inside the park, we've made our way to the beach boardwalk, which is home to Knott's newest coaster, Hang Time. That's me in the front left-hand side. Jennifer, not a big fan of this ride, so she'll be doing the filming while I take a quick spin. Many people will tell you the vertical climb is probably the most intense part of this ride. Here you'll also find the Supreme Scream, a 252-foot drop tower ride. And when you drop off the top of that thing, it's like jumping off a 20-story building. And my favorite ride in this entire park, the Accelerator, which launches guests from 0 to 80 miles an hour in about 2 seconds. And like I said before, filming on rides like this is no longer allowed, so I'll show you some never-before-seen footage of a ride I took just a few years back. And finally, we've made our way to Camp Snoopy, an area that is dedicated mostly towards the children. I say mostly because there is one thrill ride in Camp Snoopy, the Sierra Sidewinder. a ride that is a little more intense than it actually looks. Well, my friends, we've come to the end of another video, and I do hope you enjoyed taking this trip to Knott's and checking out the past and present state of the park. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we'll see you down the road.